The autumn wind whipped through the downtown Chicago streets as Captain Maria Gonzalez walked toward the City Hall auditorium, her fire department dress uniform crisp despite the tension weighing on her shoulders. 20 years of fighting fires had taught her about pressure, but nothing had prepared her for this political battlefield. Inside, the packed auditorium buzzed with anticipation. City council members arranged themselves behind their polished table while cameras captured every angle. Maria took her seat in the front row between her union representative, Detective Ray Morrison, and retired Captain Elena Santos, whose weathered hands spoke of decades battling flames. This emergency hearing will address the incident involving Captain Gonzalez and the Blackwood Industries fire response, announced Council President Janet Blackwood, her tailored suit matching her cold demeanor. Recent allegations suggest inappropriate conduct during emergency operations. The words hit like smoke inhalation. Maria kept her breathing steady, remembering her firefighter training. Stay calm under pressure. Assess the situation. Plan your response. IT had started 3 months ago at the Riverside Community Center, where Maria ran after-school programs for at-risk youth. She'd been helping 16-year-old Carlos Rivera with his college applications when Devin Blackwood, the mayor's nephew, had cornered the boy near the lockers. "Hey, scholarship kid," Devin had sneered, his expensive jacket contrasting sharply with Carlos's thrift store clothes. "Still pretending you belong here?" Maria had intervened immediately. "Back away from Carlos, Devin. Or what? You'll write me up?" Devin's entitlement radiated from every pore. His family's construction company had built half the city's fire stations, and he'd never forgotten it. The confrontation had escalated when Devin grabbed Carlos's application essays, threatening to tear them up. Maria had stepped between them, using her captain's authority to defuse the situation. But Devin's rage had turned toward her, culminating in him shoving her hard enough to send her stumbling backward into a metal desk. Her firefighter reflexes had kicked in. A quick pivot, controlled movement to regain balance, and Devin had tripped over his own feet, falling onto the gymnasium mats. No injuries, minimal force, exactly as she'd been trained to handle emergency situations, but the security cameras had captured only part of the incident. The edited footage, somehow leaked to Channel 9 News, made it appear as though Maria had attacked first. Now, 3 months later, she faced a disciplinary hearing while Devin's family launched their counterattack. Captain Gonzalez has a history of aggressive behavior, testified a parade of coached witnesses. A substitute instructor claimed Maria had radical ideas about discipline. A parent insisted her child felt unsafe around the captain. Each statement grew more rehearsed than the last. Devin sat smugly in the second row, his phone buzzing with what were probably congratulatory texts from his enablers. After the orchestrated testimonies, Fire Chief Williams stood, his hands trembling slightly. "In light of these serious allegations, I recommend Captain Gonzalez be suspended pending further investigation." The vote came quickly, 5-3 for suspension. Maria's 20 years of distinguished service, her commendations for bravery, her community work, all dismissed in 17 minutes of political theater. But as the cameras followed her dignified exit from the auditorium, Maria's phone buzzed with messages of support. Carlos's mother sent photos of his acceptance letters to 3 universities. Former colleagues shared stories of Maria's mentorship. A local veterans group pledged their backing. Detective Morrison squeezed her shoulder as they walked into the cool evening air. They made a mistake going public with this. Too much attention means too much scrutiny. 3 days later, the counterattack began. Attorney Lisa Chang burst into Elena Santos's living room, which had been transformed into a command center. Maps of the city, stacks of incident reports, and laptops covered every surface. "Found something big," Lisa announced, connecting her laptop to Elena's large monitor. "Remember how Devin claimed this was his first misunderstanding? I've got records of 6 previous incidents." The documents told a disturbing story. A female EMT who'd reported Devin's harassment, quietly transferred to another district. A rookie firefighter who'd complained about Devin's behavior at the academy, dismissed during probationary period. Each time, the Blackwood family's influence had buried the complaints under legal settlements and non-disclosure agreements. "They've been protecting him for years," Maria said, her voice tight with controlled anger. "And look at this," Elena added, pulling out a dusty file box. "Security camera requests I filed over the past 2 years. Every time Devin was involved in an incident, the footage mysteriously disappeared or was deemed corrupted." Carlos, who'd been quietly documenting everything on his laptop, looked up. "But I have backup footage from my phone. I was recording to show my little sister the community center. It shows everything." Devin grabbing my papers, threatening me, and pushing Captain Gonzalez first. Lisa was already scanning the footage into her system. "This changes everything. We're not just fighting one incident, we're exposing a pattern of abuse and cover-ups." The investigation accelerated when Sergeant Pete Kowalski, who'd worked security at city events, came forward with audio recordings from his body camera. Chief Williams's voice crackled through the speakers. "Those phones from the community center need to disappear, Kowalski. The Blackwood family has been generous to our equipment budget." "Evidence tampering," Lisa muttered, typing furiously. "And attempted destruction of evidence. We're filing an emergency motion for a full investigation." The next day brought an unexpected ally. Devon's former friend, Marcus Webb, arrived at Elena's house carrying a flash drive. "I can't stay quiet anymore," he said, his hands shaking. "Devon made me record him bragging about how his family always fixed his problems. He laughed about the EMT who got transferred, said she learned her place." The recording was damning. Devon's voice, full of arrogance, detailing how his family's money and influence had protected him from consequences. "Nobody tells a Blackwood what to do in this city," he'd boasted. "Mom's connections reach everywhere." Within hours, the story exploded across social media. #StandWithGonzalez trended citywide. Fellow firefighters organized rallies. The community center's youth programs held vigils of support, but the Blackwood family fought back viciously. Anonymous threats appeared in Maria's mailbox. Her car tires were slashed. Someone threw a brick through Elena's front window with a note, "Drop it or face the consequences." That's when Detective Morrison organized the security detail. Off-duty police officers and firefighters took shifts watching Maria's apartment. Veterans from her old Army unit drove patrol routes through her neighborhood. The message was clear: touch one of ours, face all of us. The breakthrough came when a whistleblower from City Hall leaked internal emails. Mayor Blackwood had explicitly ordered department heads to handle the Gonzalez situation quietly. The communications showed a coordinated effort to suppress evidence and intimidate witnesses. Dr. Jennifer Park, a digital forensics expert, testified at the emergency hearing that followed. She displayed the metadata from the edited security footage on the courtroom's large screen. The original file was recorded at 3:47 p.m. on the day of the incident, she explained. At 8:23 p.m. that same evening, it was uploaded to a workstation registered to Blackwood Communications, the mayor's campaign office. Professional editing software was used to remove approximately 90 seconds showing Mr. Blackwood's initial aggression. The edited version had been distributed to news outlets from Chief Williams's official email account, with copies sent to the mayor's office and the city's PR firm. Judge Patricia Rivera's expression hardened as she reviewed the evidence. "This court will not tolerate systematic suppression of evidence or witness intimidation. I'm ordering immediate preservation of all related communications and Captain Gonzalez's full reinstatement." The final city council meeting drew hundreds of supporters. Students from the community center filled entire sections, wearing Justice for Captain G t-shirts that Carlos had designed. Devon sat hunched in his seat as his recorded confessions played over the sound system. His usual swagger had vanished, replaced by the hollow look of someone whose protective bubble had finally burst. "I want to apologize," he said when called to speak, his voice cracking. "To Captain Gonzalez, to Carlos, to everyone I've hurt. I never faced consequences before, so I thought I could do anything." Tears streamed down his face. "I was wrong. I'm sorry." Chief Williams announced his resignation effective immediately. Mayor Blackwood withdrew from her re-election campaign, facing federal investigations into corruption and abuse of power. The city implemented new transparency protocols, dubbed the Gonzalez Guidelines, requiring public disclosure of all disciplinary settlements. Devon entered a court-mandated rehabilitation program and began community service at the fire department, cleaning trucks and maintaining equipment under strict supervision. The change in him was remarkable, not broken, but humbled into something resembling accountability. 6 months later, Maria stood before a new class of firefighter recruits, teaching them about emergency psychology and community relations. The morning sun streamed through the training facility's windows as she wrote on the whiteboard, "Courage is discipline." "Remember," she told the eager faces before her, "we don't just fight fires. We protect communities. That means standing up for what's right, even when it's difficult." Carlos sat in the front row, now a freshman at Northwestern studying social work. He'd received a full scholarship from the Firefighters Benevolent Fund, which had tripled their community outreach budget after the scandal. Devon worked quietly in the background, refilling water stations and organizing equipment. His designer clothes had been replaced by simple work gear, his arrogance transformed into quiet service. During breaks, he helped younger recruits practice their knots, patient and encouraging. "Good form," Maria said as he demonstrated proper hose handling technique. "Remember, steady pressure, not force." He nodded seriously, understanding that the lesson applied to more than firefighting. After class, Maria walked through the station where photos of fallen firefighters lined the walls, heroes who'd given everything to protect others. Her own photo now hung among the commendations, recognizing her courage not just in fighting fires, but in fighting for justice. The evening air carried the familiar sounds of the city, sirens in the distance, traffic humming, life continuing its rhythm. But something had changed in Chicago's atmosphere. Where influence and money had once silenced truth, transparency now flourished through new policies and renewed community trust. Carlos jogged up with his latest college report card, straight A's. "Captain G, you coming to the community center's anniversary celebration tomorrow?" "Wouldn't miss it," Maria replied, straightening her uniform with the same precision she'd maintained throughout the ordeal. As she walked toward her car, she could hear the new recruits practicing their drills inside the station. Their voices echoed off the walls: "Ready, advance, hold the line." The commands felt familiar, but carried new weight. They weren't just learning to fight fires anymore, they were learning to hold the line for justice, for truth, for communities that deserved protection from all threats. Maria smiled, feeling the satisfaction that came not from winning a battle, but from helping build something better. The city still had problems, change was never complete, but it was moving forward with renewed integrity and purpose. In the distance, church bells chimed the evening hour, their sound carrying across neighborhoods where families felt a little safer, where young people like Carlos could dream bigger, and where courage had proven stronger than corruption.